Hello and welcome to another episode of Echo Chamber Reviews, where today we'll be reviewing Avengers Endgame.
This is the fight of our lives.
This is gonna work, Steve.
I know it is. Because I don't know what I'm gonna do if it doesn't.
Avengers Endgame. The 22nd? Yeah?
The 22nd.
22nd MCU film.
That's a lot of movies.
It is a lot of movies in 12 years?
11.
11 years?
2008 to 2019.
Yeah, so we'll definitely be doing spoiler-free
The section.
section.
Because this is one of the most anticipated. I think everyone's trying to avoid spoilers for this movie.
And there's a lot to spoil.
Yeah.
It's a 3-hour movie, so. What did you think of Avengers?
We should
Endgame?
preface it. This is the first movie that we've reviewed where we didn't watch it together. I think.
Probably, yeah.
I liked the movie.
I did as well. It's not to say it's perfect, but overwhelmingly very, very positive.
Yeah.
Including, again, to avoid spoilers, including a lot of things that I was not necessarily disappointed that they didn't do in Infinity War, but there was a lot of more long-lasting and bold decisions. I'm trying to be really, really vague.
That were made in...
That weren't so much made in Infinity War. Everybody... I mean, everyone wasn't going to stay dead for Infinity War. That's not a spoiler. They weren't going to kill off all these characters when they were going to have them in... They were already planned to be in future movies.
Yes,
so
correct.
I don't consider that a spoiler. I felt like there was a lot of good decisions and a lot of good closure, I guess. Again, trying to be very, very vague.
Yeah, well, you have to have closure on a...
Well, yeah, so...
on a saga like this. And later this year we'll have another closure to a saga.
Oh. Yeah, that happened a long time ago, Bradley. Have you seen The Force Awakens?
You've already gone through mourning.
Anyway, no, I really enjoyed it. All of my complaints about it would probably really have to be in spoilers. Most of them.
Yeah. There's a couple of sections of spotty CGI.
Yeah, earlier on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I listen. I'll give them a pass because holy crap, that movie cost a lot of money to make.
Do you know how much it cost?
I don't know exactly. But some of those fight scenes, especially towards the end, there's most of that is computer generated. I mean, there's no. Yeah, so they were saving their budget for that, I think, or I guess not necessarily chronologically, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, they definitely.
Most of their budget went to that. There was some. It wasn't too bad. The same standard fare of usually when people are jumping, there's that weird acceleration that happens.
Yeah. There was one CGI character moves and just makes a small makes and it looked really odd to me when I noticed
in the beginning, again being vague, there's a bit with Thanos and that looked like Shrek to me. It looked real Uncanny Valley, and some of the stuff with Hulk looked pretty Uncanny Valley, but that's gonna happen when you have a big purple person and a big green person. Yeah. So
Hulk had the worst CGI. I think it was because Thanos, when he was in it, it was not as a normal of a scenery, and so the green CGI, the green monster CGI, stood out more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I thought it was really good. The opening scene.
Well, it's 4.
Specifically, the very first opening scene I really liked.
Did your theater deck do like a hard cut right into it? I mean, it was like trailers and then a bit of black, and then it goes right into the first scene.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I figure that's like how the movie started.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, it's. I guess really, if I any spoiler free complaints would be some of the pacing's a little off. Like the first half of the movie, first not 2/3.
Yeah, it's not half,
but
because I was told ahead of time that it was like 2/3, and it definitely was not.
Yeah, it's a little over 1/3, I'd say.
It's
a little slow. It's not bad, but it's a little slow.
It's slower, and it just is setting up. It's getting the pieces into place for the actual movie.
There's one specific plot line that kind of just doesn't go anywhere, and it's just kind of there for, I guess, to pad runtime, which is sort of weird. And we'll get more into that. And the way that the story goes, there's inevitably going to be plot holes. There's no way to get around that. Mm-hmm. But I really don't know how else they would have done it. That's really one of the only complaints I've heard. Well, one of a couple complaints is that there's a lot of plot holes, and it's like, well, yeah, I mean, that this is kind of the way it's gonna be. It's so no, I'd say it's a really good celebration of
filmmaking, just
of 22 films.
Yeah, it's
everybody gets a little screen time. You have tons of characters that come back, even if it's just in like one scene, show up, and it's kind of like, it really is like saying goodbye to all of these people. Even though some of them will be in other movies, it's really feels like this is it.
Yes.
Like leading up to this, I wasn't this hyped for this movie. You know, I wasn't really that excited.
Yeah. It was, I don't know what it was, but yeah, I was like, I don't know if I was just busy from work or just like in awe or disbelief that it was happening, or what it was, that I just was not like excited for it. The only reason I remembered that I was going to it really is because I'm like, yeah, I have plans on Friday night.
Yeah. But it feels like a nice send off, I guess, or a nice, like, again, it's like an encapsulation of all 22 movies, and it feels, I think it does a good job of that. Yeah. And even though it's straight up just nerdy fan service for most of it, there's really no way around that. That's just what it is. It's fan service.
Yeah.
It still manages to be, I think, really good. So, yeah, did you want anything else spoiler free? There's not a lot you can say other than you liked it or you didn't.
One thing that's has been like talked about a little bit is that this is the Avengers focus movie, where Infinity War was the Thanos movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I would agree with that. So expect a lot of Avenger time. That's, I don't know, that's about all I, again, there's, how much can you really say without spoiling it? The trailers are, I don't know, yeah, they're good trailers.
Trailers did a very good job of only showing stuff from the very beginning of the movie, and I appreciate that.
There's like one thing that's in the end of the movie.
Yeah, no, that's how trailers should be, especially for these kind of movies. You should just have enough in the beginning of your movie where you can just have it all take place there for your trailers. Call it good. Because, most people, basically everyone who saw Infinity War was going to go see this, so they didn't really have to do a lot of... That movie is basically an ad for this movie, so... Yes. Anything else you want to add, spoiler free?
I don't think so.
Alright, spoilers.
Even if there's a small chance, we owe this to everyone who's not in this room to try.
This is what it's gonna take. This video's gonna take for forever.
Yeah, so it is a 3-hour movie,
and it's pretty packed. Even the slow parts are still pretty packed because there's a lot of going.
There's just a lot going on.
Yeah.
I think this is one that when it comes out on Blu-ray, I'm gonna need to watch again because there's just a lot going on. Even as I was waiting for you to get done
Yeah.
and come over to do the review, I just started like writing down notes, and I just kept thinking of more things that I was like, oh, I already forgot about that. I'll just add this into my notes.
The movie opens with Hawkeye, that scene from the trailers, Hawkeye teaching his daughter archery.
That was in the trailers?
Yep, a little bit like the one scene.
Oh, I haven't watched any trailers since like the very first teaser one.
Yeah, I think I've seen them all. That, it's just like her, it's just like one, not a frame, but like one shot, I guess it was like a couple of seconds, of them teaching. He turns away for a second, and then everything gets, and then his whole family gets snapped.
I was like, yes, this is the kind of heartless monster tactics that I want in my movies.
Yes. Because everyone in my theater was like, oh no.
There was some pretty active, they were mostly respectful, but there was some pretty active people in my theater. There was one girl in front of me that was sobbing like the entire time.
Sobbing?
The entire movie. Yes, like sobbing. Not like crying, like audibly sobbing. And I kind of felt bad for her because like I think she had like a sister or a friend next to her who was like trying to console her, but she was just like sobbing the whole time, and it was kind of funny. Especially at certain parts.
So then it cut. What does it cut to next?
Smash cut to I don't remember.
More snapping.
Shit.
More people get snapped. It cuts to Iron Man. Gets rescued by Captain Marvel. He is like, "Fuck you," to Captain Marvel to Captain America for not being there.
So many captains.
That could be a T-shirt. So many captains. But not anymore. Or really. So then it's like he's mad at Captain America. Then it cuts to 5 years later. We see in one of the trailers again. We see Captain America's in a support group. There's that bit. Was that one of the Russo brothers?
I think it was.
That's what I thought.
I couldn't tell. I was gonna look that up and I forgot. I'm pretty sure that was one of the Russo brothers. It looks like one if it's not.
Yeah. So, since the Russo brothers directed this, there's a couple of Community.
Yeah, we get our Community cameos. Well, I guess one's later on. We get two. Because we're spoiled boys.
So we get Chang and Shirley.
Chang is a security guard, which is a callback to just Community itself. Yeah. And then Yvette Nicole Brown, Shirley from Community, is a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent?
Like a SHIELD secretary?
Like a SHIELD secretary.
But my dad is just like, my dad and brothers are just going through it, and they're like, oh, that's Chang. I just hear them.
Yeah, I like that they still do that.
Yeah, me too.
The Russo brothers.
And then
remember their roots.
And then Chang was like in the background.
Yeah.
And then walks like away. He's doing like a Chang pose.
Yeah, anyway, so basically the beginning, like 30 minutes, is just everyone being depressed in the aftermath of the snap, which makes sense.
Yep.
Kind of shows they show like New York, they show like the Statue of Liberty and a little bit of San Francisco of just like boats in the harbor that are just empty and some of that desolation. And then we cut to Ant-Man coming back from the quantum realm because a rat steps on a button.
Yep.
Because that was kind of the teaser in the last one, is that he went to the quantum realm, and everyone kind of knew that was going to have something to do with the resolution of this movie. So he comes back, and
tells Captain America and
wait, we skipped way too far ahead.
What happened?
We skipped the whole 5-year gap thing. We skipped the 5 years. Well, we didn't mention what happens though, so I guess we really don't have to go into detail.
Continue. I was just saying that things happen.
They go and they kill Thanos. They cut his head off.
Oh yeah! Oh, duh.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We skipped all that. So they get together and they're like, fuck you, Thanos. We're gonna go get the stones and we're gonna go kill him because he's just hanging out on a planet on his own.
This is before the 5-year jump.
Yeah, and so they go and they chop his head off.
Thor does.
And he's already destroyed the stones. So they're like, well, what do we do now? And then it just goes 5 years later.
Because they can't.
And then everyone's depressed and sad.
Yeah.
And then Ant-Man comes back. We already fucked it up.
It's fine. There's a lot here. You've seen the movie. You're fine.
Yeah. So. so Ant-Man comes back.
And says,
I'm gonna try to abridge this because it's 3 hours long. So
he says it took him 5 hours. The 5 years for everyone else was 5 hours for him. Let's try time travel through the quantum realm. Then they go talk to Tony Stark. He says, "Nah, fam." They go talk to Bruce Banner, who is now who has Bruce Banner's brain, Hulk's body. And he's like, "I don't know how to do it." Cut back to Tony Stark. He's figuring as a side project.
Inverted Mobius strip, which I'm pretty sure it would just be Mobius strip. Is that not? Anyway,
he figures out time travel, and so then they kind of a mini montage of like getting everyone to getting
the band back together.
Getting the band back together, building it up so they get Hawkeye, who's been on like murdering every single like gangster that survived. He's been doing that. They go get everyone who's alive back. Captain Marvel's like, "Fuck it, I'm out of here. Gonna go help other planets."
Because I'm too powerful and it would be an inconvenience to the story, so I'm just gonna be out of here for the next.
She got a haircut.
2 hours of runtime.
She still has the same attitude.
Yep. So their plan is to go back and basically get all of the time stones before they were, or not the time stones, wow.
Infinity Gems.
The Infinity Gems before they were destroyed by Thanos. And the way that they decide to do that is by breaking into teams and finding points in time when they're in the same cities and things, so that or same planets or same cities, so that it's the least amount of
because they only have so many
Pym particles.
Yes, they only have so much back in time travel juice.
So they go back, and basically a lot of screen time is spent on them just the different groups getting the different stones.
Yes. That'd be the whole really like second act is the whole like back in time bits. Yep. The first act is the build up, and then so the 3 teams are anyway. One of the teams is let's just do the teams is Hawkeye and Black Widow. They're gonna go to the Soul Stone, but the Soul Stone, as seen in Infinity War, needs a soul to be sacrificed. So they fight in like to who can kill themselves first, so the other can live. So spoiler: Black Widow dies. Clint comes back. The other group is Nebula and War Machine. War Machine gets the Power Stone and then go back, but then Nebula gets switched with the current Nebula, and the Nebula from the past that they're in because of their like mechanical bits, they're connected somehow.
Well, it sounded like it was just the same network that they were on. It's still a stretch, but at least it's like,
yeah.
Because if the network was specifically, again, this is a stretch, but if the network was specifically designed for Nebula, I guess it would make sense that they would both be on that network, and then potentially things. It's a very insecure network.
And so Thanos figures out, and that's like one thing is like, Thanos like knows the Avengers are back in time. The next
gotta go back.
The next team is Thor and Rocket going to get the ether. They go back into Thor 2 and suck it out of Jane Foster. They're pretty fine. This probably is a good time to talk.
They're pretty fine.
they both come back fine from time traveling without too much of a hiccup. Besides the fact that when they go to like New Asgard, which is in like Norway, I'd assume, Thor is fat. And has a big beard and long hair again.
And people are really upset about that.
Oh, are they?
But I'm prepared to talk about that in great detail. So
I'm ready for that. This is our first like tangent.
Well, let's just finish like the second act. Let's just do that, and then we can talk. I think because we're gonna have to talk about it in like pieces because we can't do the whole thing. It's just gonna be too discombobulated.
And then so the third is they go to New York in Avengers 1 to get the Time Stone, the Space Stone, and the Mind Stone. They get the staff without too much difficulty, which is the Mind Stone. Captain America, Iron Man, and Ant-Man, those 3 are getting the staff and the Tesseract. They get the staff without too much difficulty. Hulk is off talking to the Ancient One, getting the Time Stone. And then that's where the Ancient One says you have to put the time stone, all the stones back, otherwise diverging realities will be created. So you have to like bring them back when you're done using them.
To the exact point you took them from.
Yes. But anyways, because of shenanigans, the Tesseract gets lost, so they end up going back further in time to the 70s to a SHIELD base where they can also get more Pym particles because Hank Pym was there and the Tesseract was stored there for SHIELD, so Tony Stark then runs in with his dad and gives him a hug. Steve Rogers sees Peggy Carter, but they don't see each other back, and then they pop back to now. And one thing that would to remind everyone is that the nebulas have been switched, so the bad nebula came back with them. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of up to the end of the third act. Is they're all back, they have all the stones, they create a gauntlet. And I'll leave it there for now.
Alright. First, did not like Professor Hulk. Was not a fan of Hulk in Control. Because he kind of doesn't do anything. He's like a conscientious objector Hulk. It's weird. Though he's not technically, but he's like hippie Hulk, and I don't like it.
Smashing is below me.
Yeah, he's like an intellectual, but he's like. So then, what does the body do? You know, what that body do?
So that was the worst CGI is that Hulk.
It has been for a while. They've had.
See, the problem with Professor Hulk is I would have preferred if he had his own personality, because it was just Bruce Banner, which in most iterations I'm familiar with. I mean, I'm not a super big comic guy, but most iterations, like, all the Hulks have their own personality.
Well, and I thought it was a bit weird too, because when they talk to him, he says it's not his field of expertise, specifically referring to time travel, mm-hmm. But then he ends up doing a successful test, well, what I would consider a successful test with sending Ant-Man back in time.
He doesn't. He sends time through Ant-Man, not Ant-Man through time.
You know what I mean, though? Like, he does, like, 90% of the work. I would consider that effective.
Well, he considers it good.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, it's not my area of expertise, and then it cuts to a scene where he's, like, doing time travel. Not perfectly, but he would have gotten there. Yeah. I didn't really care for it. I thought it was a weird choice. Especially since Thor 3, the whole thing was like emasculating Banner so that he couldn't, Hulk wouldn't come out and play. Yeah. And then that carried through Infinity War, and in this one it's just like, oh, that arc's done. We finished it. It's like it happens off screen.
Well, it's all
not
the
that
5-year gap, yeah.
Right. Not that I would have wanted to watch that on screen, because I think it would be a boring subplot. But the point is, it's weird because since Thor 3 through Infinity War, this has been kind of his arc, right? Where he hasn't been able to be the Hulk, or reliably be the Hulk. Like, he went from being the Hulk for a really long time to then not being able to kind of control that at all. And then in this one, it's good. It's fine. Again, not saying I would have rather watched that, because I don't think it's a very interesting subplot, and that's probably the reason they made the decision they did, but I just felt it was kind of weird that all of that happens off screen in the 5-year gap. It wasn't like it didn't ruin the movie for me, but it was kind of, I wasn't super into it.
I've just been sick. I've just been kind of sick of Mark Ruffalo's performances, to be honest.
Yeah.
Thor 2, or Thor 3 kind of began the downfall, but it was still, like, good. And I just, like, since Thor 3, it's just gotten... I know what you're talking about. He just doesn't seem...
I don't know if he's not into it, or if it's the writing, or what it is, but it's just, I've not liked it as much.
Yeah. I would agree. But wasn't a big thing. I'm not a huge fan of the character anymore. Like, Hulk is fine, but there's really nothing you can do with Hulk.
Yeah.
Anymore. Or really, there really hasn't been much ever. Like, there's a reason he hasn't ever gotten a solo movie. It's because what do you do with that?
Have a solo movie.
Well, you know what I mean.
Two solo movies.
Yes.
One in the MCU.
We all try to forget them. There's just not much you can do with the character that's interesting. Yeah, anyway, minor gripe.
The other big thing, do you have something?
No, go for it.
Was Fat Thor, like I mentioned.
People don't like that either. People are real upset about that. I can very easily tell you why that is. It's because Thor, Hulk, and Captain Marvel are the three most powerful Avengers. Mm-hmm. They can't have them just be at full potential.
Yeah.
Because and Captain Marvel has the worst excuse for being the way that she is, because she just like flies away. And I'm very happy she did, because I was very concerned for this movie, being that the end of Infinity War had a teaser for her, and then she got a solo movie. I was really worried, and being how powerful she is, I was worried that was going to be a huge key factor. Instead of the team coming together to beat Thanos, it was just going to be her.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case. I was very happy about that. But the movie has to find an excuse to get rid of the three most, or in some way handicap the three most powerful Avengers. Thor being probably the second most. Hulk's pretty powerful, but there's the whole like, sometimes can't be the Hulk. But for people who are upset about Fat Thor, that's why they did that. They kind of had to in order to make the movie interesting. Because otherwise Thor, Hulk, and Captain Marvel could totally kill Thanos if they were all at full potential.
Oh, yeah, Thor does kill Thanos.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No. I mean, I kind of get why people don't like it, but that's why they did it. From a narrative standpoint, that's why they would have done that.
Is that why they don't like it? Because they weaken Thor?
I think they just don't like it because it's Fat Thor.
See,
I don't like how much they played it up for comic relief, because he's basically just the dude from The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, because he's like... he's fat, but then he's also like battling his depression at the same time. And like, so he's like, I'm not crying. I'm totally crying.
Yeah, like they
played it up for comedy. That's my biggest complaint.
Yeah.
Not that he was fat, but that he that how much his like being fat and depressed and like comedically depressed was played out for comedy.
Yeah. Like I get the whole depressed thing. It was a little bit much. Mm-hmm. It didn't ruin the movie for me. Again, I got why they did it from a narrative standpoint, and I was fine with that. Like, you had to do something because he almost beats him in Infinity War.
Yeah.
And then and they even say like that like drove him crazy. Basically, is like he lost that battle and he just.
And so I understand I don't mind his like being kind of losing it because of that. I don't mind him being fat because of it. Probably my biggest complaint with the movie as overall was how much they played fat, depressed Thor for comedy.
Correct. I agree with that. But that being said, this wasn't really Thor's movie. This wasn't really anybody's movie but Captain America
and Iron Man.
Yes, it was their movie. As much as Infinity War was Thanos, the other Avengers are very much a part of the story, but it is really Tony Stark's and
Captain America's.
Yeah, it's really their story.
But that's how it's basically like the same proportions that the first Avengers had, because it was a lot of Captain America and Iron Man in that as well, but with a lot of supporting characters that did have good moments. But it is very much theirs as well.
Yeah. Okay. Can we move on to to Ronin? Hawkeye, right?
Oh,
Isn't
yes.
that what he's
Yes,
technically called in
Ronin,
the comics? They don't. Actually, I think they do call him Ronin, don't they?
I don't remember.
All right. Anyway,
that
plot line was really. No, I don't even want to call it a plot line. Why? I guess. He became like a vigilante that murdered people, but that never goes anywhere or has any consequence to the story. Well, it's like he killed a lot of people and he feels bad about it. You should feel bad.
Oh,
but it doesn't go anywhere.
I don't even think he's just It's just like my family was murdered, so why do these bad people get to live when they didn't? And then it's just like I've been a bad person, so I deserve to sacrifice. I deserve to sacrifice myself for the Soul Stone, but then Natasha does it first.
Which I liked, but yeah. I mean, it was fine. It was just kind of weird. Like, they just cut to him murdering a lot of people. I felt like that was kind of out of character for him.
Well, I understand losing your family.
Sure,
it's enough. Like,
but it was just a very abrupt. I mean, abrupt. It's a 5-year gap, but it still felt really abrupt to me and very like.
See what I would say, like, I didn't really notice that as much as you did. I don't think it's what I would say is like the resolution to that is weak. I think everything up to the resolution is fine because like.
Well, because it was just to make him be able to have that line when they're both trying to sacrifice themselves, which I really liked, by the way. I thought that was good. It made you care about Black Widow and Hawkeye. I've never hated them, but I mean they're the weakest links.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really good when they were.
Because they were friends before.
Yeah, well, and it made sense. Again, it's the whole like. It's a lot of fan service, but it really is like a full circle of everything from the first Avengers or from the old movies. It feel a lot of closure and a lot of just like ending things, which it's because it's called Endgame.
I heard the Endgame now.
No, I didn't really have that big of a problem with it. I just felt it was kind of like, oh, we need to have him have a tragic backstory, so I guess he was killing people for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then it's referenced once and never again.
Yeah.
It didn't ruin the movie again. It just felt like I think it was more just an excuse to have that tragicness, and then also to have a slight action scene between action scenes to keep people entertained.
Trying to think what else there is. But yeah, is there anything we can think of within Act 2?
No, like it was a little slow. As I kind of alluded to earlier in the spoiler-free section, when you have time travel, you're gonna have plot holes. Is everyone? There's so many plot holes. Yeah, there's gonna be plot holes when you go back in time. I find me a time traveling story that doesn't create more problems than it solves. Like, I don't know what to tell you, people. I get the complaint, but it's don't feel like a genius for figuring that out because that's just the way time travel is. There's no way to nicely wrap everything with a bow and say this makes perfect sense and it created no issues or no paradoxes or no problems. There was one thing I was gonna say. Oh, it was cool to see all like the old locations, like the original Avengers movie and everything. That was cool. Again, totally fan service, but like when Captain America fights Captain America and all that kind of stuff. I feel like I should hate this movie a lot more just because of all the fan service, but it made me feel good because again, this is 12 years of movies. And so I feel like I should be more upset about all the shameless fan service, but we haven't even gotten to the worst of it yet. But
shameless fan.
I liked it.
Fan service isn't always shameless.
I know. I'm just saying. I fully recognize and identify that it was fan service.
Oh yeah.
But I liked it.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of ashamed of that, but I'm also kind of not because it's a superhero movie and come on.
Yeah, it's the climax. Full stop. It's it's the climax to a 22 movie 11-year franchise.
Yeah.
Let me get Spider-Man.
and actors are gonna continue to quit. Or not quit, but move on with their lives. Yeah. And so this is their opportunity to cram all the fan service in that they can because they're not going to get a lot of more opportunities, especially for Captain America and Iron Man. Yeah, I think we can move on from Act 2.
So Act 3 starts then basically with them debating who gets to undo Thanos' snap. It ends up being Hulk because he's the most powerful.
He's the logical choice.
Logically.
They have to give him something to do in this movie.
Yeah. So they all suit up for Hulk to snap. They brace the building because there's things to brace the building with. Hulk snaps, bringing everyone who snapped, who was snapped, unsnapped back to the current time, so the 5-year gap still happened.
But vanished.
But during that time, the bad Nebula is pulls Thanos and his big ship through time to the present, so 5 years in the future, which kind of fucks things up.
Which was another cool scene. Like, I like the way they did that, where just everything starts exploding. They're like, "Hey, I think we did it!" It just fire bombs.
Ant-Man literally is like, "Guys, I think it worked."
It was great. He just gets blown
and then
backwards.
and then the missiles hit the entire Avengers facility.
Yeah. So Thanos starts deploying the troops because he wants to get the Infinity Stones.
And because
back.
they built their own basically an Iron Man gauntlet, Iron Man Infinity Gauntlet. So they have all the stones together. The building is crap. We kind of let's see, Rocket, War Machine, and Hulk are kind of trapped underground. Ant-Man's going to rescue them. He'll pop up and save them all later. He'll get big. Hawkeye has the...
I get big extremely fast. That's a quote, by the way. Not from me.
Okay.
It's Rich Evans.
Because I get large extremely fast.
I think it is, yeah.
Anyways, Hawkeye has the gauntlet. The bad Nebula is sent to find the gauntlet. The good Nebula and past Gamora, who is good, because Gamora was good, has been good like since before Guardians of the Galaxy, though she was still like working for Thanos. So that ends up being that like Hawkeye has the gauntlet. He's out of the, he gets out of like the rubble. And then the goal is to get the gauntlet to Scott's minivan, which has the which we see at the end of Ant-Man, the little quantum realm thing that they can time travel, hopefully to put the gems back so Thanos can't get them.
You don't skip past. There's a really, really great scene where Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor...
I was getting to that last.
Okay, fine.
So all these things are happening simultaneously. So Thor is standing, staring at Thanos just sitting. Iron Man and Captain America walk up. So the trifecta of the holy trinity of Marvel characters, Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America,
Yeah.
are staring at Thanos.
And Thanos is just sitting there.
Yeah, and they're like, we're going to kick the shit out of him.
Well, they acknowledge that it's a trap, and they're like, we're just going to do it anyway.
So, yeah. It starts with Thor summoning lightning. They, like, walk up to him. There's a bit of... I don't even remember what they say anymore.
Doesn't matter.
They have
some quippy dialogue.
They have some, like, back and forth dialogue, like, this is destiny, you can't do it. And then they're like, well, we're
Thanos is all on that, like, edgy teenager shit, and he's like, this is destiny, you can't stop it.
Yes.
I am the great evil, the great good evil in the world.
Yeah, so then they all start fighting Thanos, and it's very well coordinated. I liked it all, that whole fight scene.
Pretty.
It was.
And it made me feel
So
things.
Thor, at this point, before he left back in time, he took Mjolnir back to the future with him. So he's wielding Stormbreaker and Mjolnir. So he's fighting. He loses Mjolnir.
Oh my gosh,
I'm an alcoholic.
I know you are.
So he loses Mjolnir. They're fighting. We see Mjolnir rise up and then be flung at Thanos. Thanos gets knocked back and cut. Captain America is wielding Mjolnir. He is worthy.
Things I saw coming from a mile away, but was still very happy. Again,
I was so happy about
I'm
everyone.
like, I should be pissed about this. This is total fan service. The girl that was bawling her eyes out just like started screeching.
Everyone in my theater clapped for it.
We didn't have clapping. It was weird.
Oh, everyone clapped in my theater.
It was just that girl. There was a few people who like gasped, which I'm okay with. I would take gasps over clapping, like you were surprised, but don't do the clapping thing. But No, I saw it from like a mile away.
As soon as Thor lost the hammer,
I was like, oh yeah.
Captain
Well,
America.
he's not gonna swing around 2 weapons all the time.
Yeah.
But listen, fam.
As soon as Thor, you're like, Captain America's in it. I almost leaned over to Jeffrey to call it. And I'm like, I'll not. But it was so amazing to see Captain America wielding Mjolnir.
Yeah. Well, this goes again to like just like the closure.
The nerdgasm that happened.
It was a collective nerdgasm in my theater. Yeah, speaking of things I also called when Tony was doing the voiceover at the beginning of the movie, I'm like, oh, he's dying at the end. There's no way he's not dying at the end because of the voiceover.
Does he do a voiceover at the beginning?
Yeah, he does. When he's talking to, like, he's doing the, well, not a voiceover, recording.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, he's dying at the end. There's no way he's not, because I knew Captain America and Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans didn't really want to be in it anymore after this, and their contracts were up. So I was like, they're either... I didn't expect them both to die. I thought only one of them would die, and the other one would just, like, do something else. Nope, both dead. You know what I mean. It's technically.
Yeah, so they fight...
they're very much out of the picture.
Yeah. Then Thanos, like, his ships... Thanos then summons his army, and they're like, oh, fuck, there's not enough Avengers. Then giant wizard portal, like, Captain Strange, Doctor Strange summons, so it pulls out all the heroes. We cut to all the different portals. It's Falcon and Captain and Black Panther first, but everyone comes through basically.
Again, I should be upset, but it was just like it was
everyone. So the whole battle. So it's a big, long superhero battle of just all the heroes and versus Chitauri and then Thanos' minions.
And you couldn't do it justice by trying to explain it, because it's just there's so much going on. There's so many different like little asides, scenes that are cut to different people fighting Thanos, different people trying to get the gauntlet to.
So anyway, yeah, the main main thing that matters with that is they're trying to get the gauntlet to the Scott Lang's van that'll send the stones back to where they belong in time. They get close, but they don't do it. Thanos gets the gauntlet. People fight him. And at the very last second, Iron Man comes in and is like grappling him. Thanos snaps again, but it doesn't work.
Psych, bitch.
Because Tony has them. And so then his Iron Man suit, because it's nanobots, has all the stones. He snaps. All Thanos' minions fade, and then like close up, like from like waist up on Thanos, like full on straight on shot. He takes up most of the frame. He slowly turns to dust, like everyone else got snapped. So Tony basically snaps Thanos' army out of existence. And then Tony dies.
Yeah. He should have died right away, I'm going to be honest. Played it out a little too long.
Yeah, he didn't die right away. That was probably the other biggest like thing that pulled me out is like he's just a human.
Yeah. That's where he didn't even have a helmet on or anything. I would have been a little bit more okay if he had like put his suit on, like fully put his suit on and snapped. But he's just a dude.
Yeah. So my assumption was because I thought about it too much was that the suit absorbed a lot of the energy, enough to keep him alive.
It's a comic book movie. It's fine. I felt like he should have kind of died instantly. He should have evaporated or like been just like gone.
But they needed some of the Peter Parker closure, so Peter Parker's
and Potts. Yeah. Which I was surprised she came back.
Yeah. So Peter Parker's like, Mr. Stark, we did it. We won. Oh yeah, we should mention that Tony Stark has a kid.
Oh yeah.
And then Pepper Potts is like who the kid is with, and they're married. It's like who has also an Iron Man suit, just rescue.
Well, and the circle with that is he's one of the few people that really didn't lose anybody really close to him, and then at the end he's the one who dies, and so it's like in order to get everyone else back, Pepper Potts and his daughter had to lose someone, and so Tony was like that equivalent exchange.
Yes. And so it's those two, and then there's they do the She dies. She kisses him. Then
Pepper Potts gets to be rescued, which is kind of cool. I like that.
My brother's is like, because there was that one shot when someone, I think it was Spider-Man, mentions to Captain Marvel, like, how are you going to get the gauntlet over to X? And then, like, she's not alone, and all of the women superheroes.
Yeah, that was a bit weird.
It was a bit on the nose. It was...
It was fine, but it didn't feel natural.
No, it didn't. It felt like we're going to put the... And, like, I don't... Again... Women in movie... women in action...
Women should not be in movies.
Women in action...
Men only.
People, like, complain about... It's because it's not realistic to watch a 120-pound woman beat up a 250-pound man. But superhero movies, that doesn't matter because superpowers. But it seemed really unnatural that they forced all of the women superheroes into the frame. And how they did it. But that was it.
I mean, I'd have the same problem if it was all the guy ones. Because it would just be, like, he's not alone. And they just all, like... Because it's a big battlefield. It wasn't really a problem. It felt... Can I say it felt cheesy in a superhero movie?
A little bit, yeah.
But it was fine. I mean,
was
they're
fine.
all, like... That definitely didn't... I didn't have a problem with it.
But yeah, so then there's a funeral.
Oh, wow. You just...
Yeah, so I mentioned...
Fast forward.
I mentioned that Tony Stark dies, and they're like, we won. Then there's basically just like a funeral for Tony Stark, and the cameraman is just walking through all of the entire cast of the movie, basically, just like panning to people.
Mm-hmm.
We get like Nick Fury.
We get a voiceover of Tony basically saying goodbye. If something were to happen to him,
which happens, it was just like a hologram of him recording it a day before the time travel mission.
Yep. We see Happy Hogan again.
Yes,
it's kind of nice. And the proof Tony Stark has a heart.
Yeah,
was a nice touch.
That was
hit me right in the heart.
It's like yeah. People laughed at my theater at that.
What?
They laughed.
That is not an appropriate reaction to that.
I was touched by it. I'm like,
no, it was
people laughed at it.
It was really, I thought it was really well done, and it was it's the full circle of because I kind of don't care at all anymore. Like, after this movie, I'll probably still go see them. Mm-hmm. I probably won't go opening night, or even, I'll wait maybe till it's at the budget or whatever, but I don't particularly care anymore. Like, this was the conclusion that I wanted. This, in my opinion, this is the season finale, and this is it.
That's a series. I guess not the series finale, but yeah, it's.
Yeah, series finale would have been better. Like, yes, there's gonna be more movies, but those movies are like spin-offs, in my opinion.
Yeah.
This is the conclusion. This is a good stepping off point. This is a perfect bookend, I think, to all of the movies that come before it. And so, and even just to the characters that have come before.
Yeah.
Will I probably go see future movies? Yeah, but I'm going to think of them more as spin-offs of that franchise is still going. Kind of like Star Wars. Yeah. Except Star Wars is more shit. But I appreciate that they went the more somber direction. However, some of the tonal stuff was weird because it was like they wanted to go the really dark route and then they kept making jokes. And where I really had a problem with that is I really liked the funeral at the end with Tony. It was really, 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 really nice, and I thought it was good. And I was kind of like, all right, the movie's going to wrap up here and we're going to be done. But then they have a little comic relief thing with, I think that's, right after that is Fat Thor and Rocket Raccoon, and they're like, get on the ship, it's the Guardians of the Galaxy, we gotta have a little joke about who's the captain, and is it Thor or is it Peter Quill? Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's really inappropriate, because we just killed the original Avenger.
Yeah. But then the final... Is Captain America scene the final scene?
I think so, but that Guardians of the Galaxy thing should just not have been there. Or it should have been handled very differently.
Because
you could have had Thor be like, "Hey, I'm going on my own adventure," and be done. It was really inappropriate to have the really, really nice, everyone's wearing black, it's very somber, and you basically, like you were saying, like pan through, the camera just kind of pans through so many different characters. And then it hard cuts, basically, to a little comedic relief scene. And I thought that was super inappropriate, and that killed it for me. A little bit. Didn't ruin the movie, but I that should have come before, or just not been there.
See, I understand. It didn't bother me because it was like a... Because in the final scene then is Captain America's somber scene, so it's a bit of like levity between the two.
But still, it's like I was enjoying the moment of like, he's really dead. They're not gonna do a stupid like, oh, he's not really dead. We use the stones. He's back now. And the same thing with Natasha. Black Widow, as far as we know, is really dead. And I was like, this is good. And I was a little not like crying, but like I felt things, Bradley. Yeah. Deep inside that I haven't felt for years. It warmed the cockles of my heart.
Point is, I am having, this is crazy, but I'm having feelings again. Like some kind of 14-year-old kid or something. I mean, you remember feelings, right?
Yeah, I have feelings every single day of my life.
Do you?
And then there was that juxtaposition of just like, here's a goofy scene. And I really think they should have ended it on that somber note. But to your point, then they have the scene with Captain America where he goes back in time to return the stones, and he just doesn't come back until way, way later, and he's super old, and that was also really good because I knew this was definitely his last movie. That's why I was expecting him to die.
Yeah, because so there's a scene where he's back in time dancing and then kisses Peggy Carter, so he finally gets that dance that he's been waiting on for like 7 years.
So his arc is finished.
Yes. He's old. He passes on the shield to Sam Wilson.
Which was nice too.
And I think that's where it ends, right?
Yep, that's the end of the movie. Well, technically the dance is the end of the movie because he passes the shield on and then it cuts to basically him in the 70s, I guess, 80s, dancing with Peggy Carter. Mm-hmm. And then it ends. And then the sad music plays through the like waltz music plays through the credits.
And then they have a lot of credits, but I really liked how they did the signatures for.
I did not watch the credits. I left.
You left right away?
Yeah.
You should have at least watched the black, at least to the black, because they did they did all of the people. Then they did the 6 Avengers. Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow, Hawkeye, and Hulk for the credits. So those are the last people, not in that order, because they did Hawkeye. The order was Hawkeye, Black Widow, Hulk, Thor, Captain America, Iron Man. They all on those last ones. They all had silhouettes of the person dressed up as their costume. Thor was not fat. It was like their best moments. But they had them their body kind of shadowed, along with footage playing of them in the all of footage in the movie in the background with the silhouette. Their name appears, but then in the center, over top of their shadowed silhouette, they're all of their actor signatures. It was really nice. So the thing, there is no end credits scene, but you should at least stay, Jordan.
I was told there was no end credit scene, so I'm like, what's the point of being here?
Until it goes to the black scrolling, because it was really, I really enjoyed seeing that.
Was there any text or anything at the end of the black credits? No.
What there was is Jeffrey looked it up, and there was and so I just ended up saying
Iron Man will return as a ghost.
Jeffrey, I looked it up, and it's there's a sound that plays, and so there's a blacksmith hammering sound. And so,
explain. And
it's supposed to be a clue to Phase 4, but I personally think it was Iron Man forging his first Mark 1 armor. And so it's just 4 or 5 hits of hammer on steel or hammer on metal, and that was the ending sound. As it goes the black Marvel Studios logo is the last hammer, and then it just ends. But there's some hammering, but some blacksmithing happening. And so I think it kind of sounds to me. I'm like it's probably a tribute to that, but I don't know what it is. Could be Doctor Doom forging his armor. I don't know.
Ooh, pretty wild.
Yes.
Didn't they say the Fan Force? Well, no, I guess it was X-Men. They said weren't going to be part of Phase 4.
I don't fucking know.
I don't care. I'm done. This is it.
That's all that matters.
That's all I really care about.
It was I'm not an expressive person, but it was a very emotional ending. And
I think just throughout, like there was a lot of
tugging at your heartstrings.
Again, like 12 years is a long, or 11 years or whatever 12, we'll just round up. 12 years is a long time, and it was just cool to kind of see that closure.
Yeah.
Was it perfect? No, I don't think so. I think there were some things that were kind of questionable, but
It's
compare
perfect
it
because
to-
you're so invested in it. Like if you can,
Yeah.
it's not possible to abstract yourself enough from like what's around it. But if it was, it's not perfect. But it's pretty.
Well, and
amazing.
with time travel, there's always going to be issues. Like, don't feel like you're a genius for pointing out that there are plot holes in any movie with time travel. Like, congratulations.
Yeah.
You've figured out something very, very obvious. And it's kind of like, with Infinity War 2, it's kind of like Half-Life 3, where no matter what, I wasn't that hyped, but it was just generally hyped to infinity.
Mm-hmm.
Kill me. After
Oh.
after Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
So it's what can truly live up to the expectation of like, well, half the universe just got vanished.
Mm-hmm.
So is it the greatest movie ever? No, absolutely not. Was it really, really entertaining, and did I enjoy it, and was there emotional investment that I had with watching these characters die or go through really tough stuff, or finally all share the screen in just a giant battle that's just a giant fan servicey nerd explosion extravaganza? Yes, I enjoyed it. It was a very entertaining movie.
Yes, it was. Well, thank you. I don't know. Do you have anything else? Any final thoughts?
That's about it.
We've talked at length. Well, thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, ring the bell icon, and anything else you're supposed to do.
Give us money.
I don't know what we're going to talk about next at this point. I'm sure we'll find some movie. I saw Dumbo and it was fucking shit.
That's kind of what I've heard. Is Dumbo wasn't great, but again,
we could just put that clip up as a Dumbo review. I saw Dumbo and it was fucking shit.
That's the whole review.
Don't do that. Just post that.
Was it really that bad?
An elephant flies.
Sometimes,
and thus things happen.
That's the full review right there.